Welcome to Podcast Summaries, where every week we break down powerful ideas from 8 to 10 top podcasts to help you grow, heal, and thrive while saving time. If you find this summary helpful, please subscribe and check out links for more content. Your support keeps this journey going. Here is a rundown on how trauma, porn, and gut health are killing your sex life, featuring Dr. Sankalp Jain by Shamani. He shares that in some areas, pedophilia has become so common that it's being normalized, with people even using the term to describe attraction to younger individuals. Dr. Sankalp Jain chimes in, explaining that pedophilia is a recognized disorder in psychiatry, characterized by an attraction to small children. He notes that pedophiles often appear normal and can be found in positions of authority, such as uncles or family members. Dr. Sankalp Jain agrees, highlighting the destructive nature of this behavior and the long-term damage it can cause to the victims. He also shares that pedophilia is not the only issue, citing examples of people engaging in bestiality and other forms of exploitation. The conversation takes a darker turn as Dr. Sankalp Jain shares stories of people engaging in group masturbation and competing to see who can ejaculate the most. He notes that these behaviors are often linked to trauma and a lack of education about healthy sexuality. Dr. Sankalp Jain attributes pedophilia to childhood trauma, often at the hands of family members. He notes that nymphomania is often linked to hormonal imbalances and can be treated with medication and counseling. Aphrodisiac disorders, on the other hand, are characterized by an excessive desire for sex, often driven by a chemical imbalance. Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that his primary job is to help patients achieve erections and overcome premature ejaculation. He notes that premature ejaculation is a subjective issue and can vary from person to person. He notes that good sex is not just about penetration but about the emotional connection and intimacy between partners. Dr. Sankalp Jain also emphasizes the importance of respect and communication in achieving good sex. He notes that this position allows the female partner to take control and guide the male partner, leading to a more satisfying and intimate experience. The doctor explains that the average time for good sex is at least 15 to 25 minutes, encompassing the entire activity, including foreplay, roleplay, and rounds. He breaks down the concept of rounds, emphasizing that it's not just about the number of strokes, but also about the quality of the experience. Dr. Sankalp Jain shares his expertise, having written a book on the topic. He highlights the importance of understanding the nuances of sex and the need to move beyond the notion that sex is just about penetration. He emphasizes that sex is a holistic experience that involves emotional connection, intimacy, and mutual satisfaction. Dr. Sankalp Jain attributes this to the narrative built by the supplement industry, which creates a sense of insecurity and inadequacy among individuals. He argues that this narrative is driven by fear of missing out, FOMO, and the desire to sell products. The conversation takes a fascinating turn as Dr. Sankalp Jain discusses the impact of protein supplements on gut health. He explains that the narrative around protein deficiency is often exaggerated and that people are misled into believing they need more protein than they actually do. He emphasizes the importance of consulting experts, such as doctors or nutritionists, to determine the right amount of protein for individual needs. The doctor advises against using condoms with numbing agents such as lidocaine, as they can lead to nerve damage and desensitize the penis. The conversation shifts to the topic of premature ejaculation, and Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that it's often caused by the misuse of the penis, particularly through excessive masturbation. He emphasizes that masturbation can lead to vasculogenic erectile dysfunction, which can be treated through therapy and lifestyle changes. He advises that healthy masturbation can be done once or twice a week, but excessive masturbation can lead to addiction and harm. He encourages individuals to approach sex with a holistic perspective, prioritizing emotional connection, intimacy, and mutual satisfaction. Dr. Sankalp Jain responds that it's actually bad, as it can erode one's confidence over time. He explains that when someone masturbates before having sex, they may struggle to perform during the actual act, leading to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. This can become a habit, ultimately affecting one's mental health. Dr. Sankalp Jain suggests that controlling one's diet the day before can make a big difference. He also advises taking laxatives if needed to ensure a clean gut and a sense of lightness. Dr. Sankalp Jain mentions beetroot, cucumber, tomato, turmeric, and avocado as example. However, he cautions against overemphasizing the importance of these foods, as a balanced diet that includes grains is also essential for overall health. Dr. Sankalp Jain responds that this narrative is often misguided, as it focuses on external factors rather than mental health and emotional connection. He believes that true intimacy and connection with one's partner are key to a fulfilling sex life, rather than relying on external influences like medicines or gadgets. Dr. Sankalp Jain notes that this is not surprising, given the societal pressures and expectations placed on women. He also mentions that women's expectations of timing and sexual performance in bed have increased over time, particularly as they age. He also notes that women's bodies undergo changes as they age, requiring more stimulation and attention. Dr. Sankalp Jain advises men to focus on their mental and physical health, particularly their skin and blood flow. He also mentions a product called Chandriyan Kit, which can help improve blood flow and skin tightness naturally. Dr. Sankalp Jain responds that Kegels can be helpful, but should be done in moderation. He warns against overdoing it as it can lead to stricture and other problems. Kegels were originally used to help with urinary incontinence, particularly in females after childbirth. However, he notes that men can also do Kegels, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. The key is to use them in moderation and not overdo it. Dr. Sankalp Jain shares that his grandfather, a medical officer, noticed that people working long hours were suffering from hormonal imbalances. This led to research on hormonal problems, which eventually evolved into a focus on penile health. He emphasizes that understanding the root cause of a problem is crucial in finding a solution. Dr. Sankalp Jain reveals that Maharashtra, Punjab, and Chandigarh are among the top 3 states. He attributes this to the high consumption of medicines and the lack of literacy in some areas. Dr. Sankalp Jain confirms that this is indeed the case, and attributes it to the narrative of becoming a sugar daddy that is perpetuated by the porn industry. He notes that people are drawn to the idea of fulfilling their fantasies, especially when they have the means to do so. Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that it's often due to a lack of communication and mutual respect. He notes that people may not discuss their bedroom issues openly, leading to unresolved problems. He also suggests that using sex toys can be beneficial, especially for women who struggle with orgasm. Dr. Sankalp Jain emphasizes that performance anxiety is a common issue for men, and that it's often driven by societal expectations and the pressure to perform. He notes that women, on the other hand, do not typically experience performance anxiety, as they are not expected to perform in the same way. Dr. Sankalp Jain advises against it, citing the risk of infections and the lack of hygiene. He notes that people who engage in paid sex often do so to hide their insecurities, but that it's not a safe or healthy solution. He notes that sex workers often play on men's insecurities, making them feel inadequate and small. Dr. Sankalp Jain agrees, explaining that sex workers use this tactic to extract more money from their clients. He shares that many of his patients have come to him with similar experiences, and he reassures them that their size is normal. Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that the size of a man's penis is not as important as society makes it out to be. He shares a scientific fact that the size of a man's penis is proportional to his height and body mass index. He advises men not to worry about their size, as it is not a reflection of their masculinity. Dr. Sankalp Jain shares that research suggests that sexual curiosity and traits can be inherited from one's parents. However, the exact kink or fantasy is not inherited. He cites a study on twin siblings that found that the intensity and frequency of sexual fantasies can be influenced by genetic factors. The conversation shifts to the topic of gut health and its connection to sexual performance. Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that gut health is crucial for overall health, including sexual health. He shares that bloating and constipation can lead to sex dysfunction, and that a healthy gut microbiome is essential for proper digestion and hormone regulation. Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that testosterone is not something to be boosted, but rather a hormone that should be balanced. He notes that the narrative around testosterone is often misguided, and that people should focus on overall health rather than trying to boost their testosterone levels. He also warns against the use of steroids and other supplements that can harm fertility. The conversation turns to the topic of phone radiation and its impact on fertility. Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that phone radiation can disrupt blood flow and hinder spermatogenesis, leading to infertility. Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that lactose in milk can cause gas and disrupt hormone regulation, leading to sex dysfunction. He notes that the source of milk is also important, and that milk from cows that have been treated with oxytocin injections can be harmful to human health. Dr. Sankalp Jain explains that oxytocin is a female hormone that can cause hormonal disruption in men, leading to issues such as gynecomastia, low testosterone, and poor sperm health. He notes that while there is research on oxytocin, it's often driven by ulterior motives, and that the vegan community has been promoting awareness about this issue. Dr. Sankalp Jain advises against consuming pasteurized milk, which he believes is essentially white water that can cause hormone disruption. Dr. Sankalp Jain responds that premature ejaculation is the most common problem, often followed by erectile dysfunction after several years. He also warns against masturbation, which he believes can destroy libido and erection. When asked about the best food for better sex, Dr. Sankalp Jain suggests eating fruits, particularly pomegranate, which contains quercetin and other beneficial compounds. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, check out YouTube channel, and just remember, subscription is only £1 or $1 per month. Leave a comment or review. Until next time, happy listening.